All right, friends, welcome to Oklahoma. It's always windy here in Oklahoma, but during tornado season, it's especially windy. So I'm going to move on to the next chapter and hope that my camera doesn't fall over. And I changed my camera angle so you can see the cows playing in the pond. All right, nothing good. This chapter, things get real. Amy's phone rang at 10:12 a.m. It was Nick. Have you heard from Bob? Amy sat up. No, why? She asked frantically. He went down to get coffee an hour ago. He should have been back already. I tried to call him, and he didn't answer. Sorry, lost my spot. No, why? He went down to get coffee. He should have been back. I tried to call him, and he hasn't answered, Nick told her. Amy, I let him go alone. What if... He trailed off. I'll try to call him. I'll call you right back, she said and hung up. She immediately called Bob's phone. There was no answer. Well, she started calling Nick back. She got a message. Her heart stopped. We warned you. That was all it said. She dropped her phone. Ainsley, noticing something was wrong, ran to her side. What is it? He asked as he picked up her phone, looking at the message. They have Bob, she said solemnly. They spent the rest of the day with the authorities. They offered what little information they had, reviewing security footage around where he'd disappeared, making phone calls, etc. They were terrified. So many thoughts were swirling around their heads. Where was he? Was he hurt? Was he alive? They could only wait and see if the kidnappers would reach out again. That was a very short chapter. Chapter 10. Jim. Yeah, Jim. Remember him from the first book? Jim was Amy's ex-boyfriend. He was currently serving a 30-year sentence in a federal penitentiary for his attempts to murder Amy, corruption, conspiracy, and many other charges. For the past 2 years, he had been serving time in California. 2 months ago, he was moved to a prison in New York. Amy tried not to be paranoid, but was still a little wary. Some voice in her head thought it had something to do with her. The warden gets a phone call from NYPD regarding a missing persons case. One of his prisoners is indirectly connected to the case. They want to know some information about the prisoner, James Donovan. The warden pulls up Jim's file. There's nothing notable. He hasn't been in any trouble. There is nothing to tell them. No visitors, no phone calls. He apologizes and wishes he could be of more help to them. They thank him for his time and phone call. Jim gets called. He has a visitor. He never has visitors. And he smiles. He knows who it is. Ugh. He enters a visitation room and takes a seat across from Amy. He is relaxed and at ease. His manner is disarming and a little alarming. She hasn't seen him in over 2 years, and his behavior seems odd to her. Maybe she's just reading too much into it. Maybe she's seeing something because maybe she's seeing something because she's looking for something. Hi, Ames. You look good, he said casually. I heard about Bob on the news. Terrible. He looks down and shakes his head. One more victim in your wake, I guess. Any leads? He asks. We have some leads, she lied. Why are you here, Amy? He said abruptly. I'm here because I think you're involved. I don't know how, but I know you're involved, she said angrily at him. Oh, Amy, you're projecting your guilty conscience onto me. That's normal. I can't blame you. I would too, if I were you. Amy, I'm not involved. There's no way I could be, he said very calmly, moving his arms to the side, indicating that they were inside of a prison. Ask anyone here, he continued. I'm a model prisoner. I've been a very good boy ever since I've been here. They love me in here. He smiled an oily smile at her. Besides, what if I was involved? What good would coming here do? What do you hope to gain? You've been jealous of Bob since we dated after you got locked up. Your career was ruined and his took off. You He got everything you wanted and more, she egged him on. He breathed. He knew what she was trying to do. She was trying to get him to lose his temper. Has anyone visited you since you've been here? She continued. Friends? Family? Your father? I already know the answer. I talk to him at least once a week. He needs a friend. You really disappointed him. I know what you're doing, Amy, he spat. It's not going to work. You deserve to feel what I feel. I lost everything. You will too, he threatened. How are Ben and Mara? He asked, like a snake, glaring at her. This is over, Amy said calmly, standing up from her chair. She picked up her purse and left the room. Don't come back here, ever, he shouted as she walked away. All right, 6 minutes, we'll go to a next chapter. Chapter 11, we need a plan. He's definitely involved, Amy told them. This time, Ben was there too, but not Mara. We need a plan, she said while pacing the room. We need someone inside that prison, Amy said. Ben approached her and put his hands on her arms. Amy, he said, looking concerned at her. I know you think I'm crazy, but please trust me. The police don't think there's enough cause to send in their people. It will be up to us. We need to get someone inside, she pleaded. I'll do it, Nick said. The rest all looked surprised at him. He continued, I've been undercover before and in plenty of dangerous situations. Then he looked down. Besides, it's my fault. Amy approached him and looked into his eyes. It's not your fault. I could just as easily say it's my fault, she told him. There are bad people out there, and we're trying to stop them. This is their fault. He looked back at her. You get me inside that prison and I'll take care of it, he said seriously. If someone in that prison is connected to this, I will find them. Besides, I'd rather be in danger with him than just sitting here, waiting. Amy smiled and continued. I wish we had 2 people inside. First, for safety, and second, I'd like to have someone as a guard and someone as a prisoner. We don't know who is involved. This could go as high as the warden. I'll talk to a colleague. We've gone undercover before together in the past. I can probably get him to help out, Nick said. Okay, I will contact my connections and see what I can do, Amy added. Nick's friend, pick up on that what Amy just said. She'll talk to her contacts. Nick's friend didn't take much convincing to join the fray. He was eager to help with the cause. His name was Tommy Castellani. Tommy Castaldi. Sorry, that's not important. I just wanted to make sure I pronounced it. I did a lot of research to pick nice names that I liked with a nice ringtone. So, Tommy Castaldi. I like it. Nick went on to tell the team how he and Tommy went undercover in Iran as Iranians and in Cuba as Cubans. He said that was one advantage to being dark-skinned. Changing your haircut and clothes, you can disguise yourself into any culture, almost any culture. They got Nick a resume that any warden would jump at, and in a few days of prison guard training, Tommy would come in as a regular prisoner, and nobody in the prison would know about the scheme. Chapter 12 is next, and it's called A Storm is Brewing. And I think, no, it's not a very long chapter. We're only at 10 minutes, so we'll go right on into it. We're at 9.5 minutes. All right, a storm is brewing. Now, let's not forget, the whole premise of this book is the pipeline. Where are my cows? Oh, they're back there. Okay, let's see. You can see them. Okay. A storm is brewing. There is a storm brewing. Amy would have liked to forget about the pipeline problems and worry solely about Jim and the mission to rescue him. but she was not afforded such luxury. Nick was already on the inside, and Tommy was going to be booked the following day when Amy's phone rang. She was in her office with Ben and Ainsley. It was Sal. A hurricane was coming up the Atlantic and heading north. It was expected to make landfall around Massachusetts. They had completed most of the pipeline in those areas, but it was delayed by winter weather and plastic clogs. What they had in place would help the local communities, but it wouldn't be enough to prevent some damage. Sal had been out there testing the lines and found a problem. One of the lines was down. It was probably another plastic clog. To add to the problem, it was late November, and the clogged pipe was in eastern New Hampshire, and it was cold. New Hampshire would be freezing this time of year. What do you need? Amy asked. Well, Sal explained, I'm going to have to ask a team of 9, including myself, to go up there in the cold, damn near the time that the hurricane is going to make landfall. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Is it too dangerous? Amy asked him. I don't think so, as long as everything goes smoothly. When does anything ever go smoothly? We should be in and out of there before it gets too bad, he told her. Do you have the men? She asked. I have a crew. I just wanted to make sure you were in the loop. Thanks, Al. Do what you can, but don't put yourself and the crew in danger. If it gets too dangerous, get out. Will do, boss, he replied. After she hung up, Ben asked, Do you think I could go and see what's going on up there? I engineered most of the plans for that line. Maybe there's a flaw. Maybe I can help improve something. Ben, I cannot take putting another friend at risk. Besides, you need Mara's permission before you'll need mine. She laughed. She was pretty confident Mara would say no way. Yeah, he rubbed his neck. This is going to be a hard sell. He went home, leaving Amy with Ainsley. I feel like I'm not being much help here, he told her, rubbing her shoulders. Are you kidding me? I'd fall apart if it weren't for you, she told him, and she meant it. Ben called Amy a few hours later. If the offer is still open, I have my permission slip signed. Mara is on board. How did you make that happen? Amy asked. She said, You have enough on your plate, and anything we can do to help lighten your load, we should do. Plus, I think my constant doting is beginning to wear on her. He laughed. Can you call Sal and set it up? And Ben, please stay in touch and stay safe, she added. Will do, boss, he said, imitating Sal. Ben left right away and met up with the crew in a few hours. Sal had to relieve one of his crew members to make room for Ben in the truck. You're going to have to take his place when we get up there, Sal warned him. I'm up for the task, Ben replied confidently, and they were on their way. By the time they reached the location of the clogged pipe, the cold rain had already started. They had 3 trucks carrying 3 men each. One truck towed a backhoe, one towed the pipe handler, and one was a dump truck. These cows, they keep moving. The clogs usually occur near the joints in the pipe, or directional valves. Based on that information, they began digging. They dug the pipe up. The men started on the rivets. They pulled the piece of pipe out. Using the pipe handler, they lifted the pipe and tilted it vertically and banged it on the top of the dump truck. At first, only a few pieces of trash fell out. As they continued to bang the pipe, a whole section of trash suddenly fell into the truck. Ben couldn't believe what he was seeing. All that trash had washed into the system. It was unbelievable. Then, the section before that one had to go. The men began the process again. By now, the wind picked up, and the cold rain increased. Sal directed Ben into the ditch and to start clearing the directional valves by hand. They wouldn't have time to disconnect that one and reconnect it before the storm came. Sal gave Ben some thick plastic bags and some heavy gloves. He got down and began filling the bags. One after the other, he filled them in the mud, rain, and wind. They put the pipes back in and riveted them on. Sal called into headquarters and ordered a flow test before they could leave the area. They got into the trucks and waited for the results of the test. Negative, the voice came over the phone. There is still a clog somewhere. Sal and the crew concluded that it must be on the other side of the valve. The weather was awful now. The men were soaked and freezing. They conferred over walkie-talkie as they were sheltering in their trucks. They had to decide. Did they stay and pull another section or leave and let the area flood? If nearby towns flood, people will surely die. The wet and cold will be a disaster. To add to the problem, the people knew the pipeline had already been installed in their area, so fewer people would evacuate, feeling safe from the flood. Amy called Sal's phone. He didn't pick up. The decision was unanimous. They decided to go for it. Cows. The men got out into the wind, driving rain, and freezing temperatures, and got to work. It took 2 long hours to clear the next section. It was dark, and they were working on pure adrenaline. When loading the equipment, the decision was made to abandon the equipment. They could come back after the storm to get them. Instead, they unhooked the trailers and left them too. They set out to get back to the hotel and some dry clothes and beds. The wind was so bad they could hardly see the road ahead. They were driving at a crawl. The wind was pushing the vehicles all over the road. Ben and Sal were in the lead truck. Suddenly, Sal realized that they were driving in water. He got on the walkie-talkie and shouted, "Turn back! Back up! We're in water!" Ben looked at the map on his phone and saw that they were between a small creek and a river. Both had been pretty far from them, but they must have converged. "We can't go that way," Ben said. Sal told the men to turn around very carefully. "Don't go off the road and get stuck, please," he told them. Sal and Ben turned in their seats and watched intently to ensure that the other trucks made it safely out of the water and didn't get stuck off the road. Then they went. All three vehicles eventually turned around and headed away from the water. They breathed a sigh of relief when they got out. Ben watched the map, and Sal tried desperately to drive in what now was a full-blown hurricane. "How far to the next town?" Sal asked. "About 20 miles," Ben replied miserably. "Any water between here and there?" Sal asked. "You want an honest answer?" Ben replied. "No," Sal said. "In my opinion," Ben added, "there we are almost to the middle between two bodies of water. I think we should stop here and wait it out." Sal looked at the gas gauge. "Okay," he said. He got on the walkie-talkie and told the rest, "Turn your engines off. I know it's cold, but we must conserve our gas. Only turn them on when absolutely necessary. I know you're wet, cold, hungry, and exhausted, but we just can't go any farther." They parked, turned the engines off, and waited. Ben sent Mara a message. "We're okay. Conserving phone battery. I will call you as soon as I can. I love you." There was no service. Hopefully there would be a break and the message would go through. Amy had gone to Ben and Mara's apartment. The weather wasn't much better in New York. Amy, Ainsley, and Mara huddled in the dark as the power went out. Mara asked, "Have you talked to Sal's wife?" "Yeah, she isn't surprised he decided to be a hero," she said, trying to sound like she wasn't as worried as she was. "She's going to let us know if she hears anything, and we'll do the same if we hear anything." The trio sat through the night and waited. Around 3 a.m., Mara's phone dinged. It was a message from Ben. She sent him back, I love you more. No service. All right, we're at almost 20 minutes, so I'm going to stop here. Chapter 13 is undercover. We go back to the prison. We have not forgotten about Jim and Bob in the prison and what's going on there. So now we've got Ben out there stuck in a hurricane and Sal, and we've got Jim. We've got Bob being kidnapped, and Nick is going undercover to help him. So things are getting pretty rich. All right.